Hi, I'm Robert Lee Camp, and this is another installment in our spiritual relationship series. In this lesson today, we're going to get into a little bit about one of the dynamics that are in almost all relationships that actually go against having a good relationship. I want you to know that a lot of these things that we're going to discuss, including the one today, is largely unconscious. In other words, we don't know that we're doing it. It's so normal to us that it seems like it should be okay. It should be fine. But in fact, these things undermine relationships in all of our life, not just in our personal life. So this is about this thing that I call the separate self. Some spiritual teachers call it the separate self. You might call it the false self. There's other words for it, the ego, whatever. And this is a part of us that seeks not to be together with somebody, but to be apart from them. So the whole process of relationship, the ideal, you might say, in a loving, intimate relationship, is to get closer to a partner and to become one with them. Now that's like a word that we've heard a lot of, this oneness thing and the whole spiritual thing, but what does that really mean? Can you imagine if you were able to actually feel as though your partner and you were the actual same, just really the same, and that you cared about your partner like you care about yourself, not because you're trying to be a good person, you just naturally care about them. This is what's possible in relationship, that you would treat your partner exactly as you treat yourself and want for them everything that they want, just like you want for yourself the things that you want. Okay? But there's this thing we call the separate self, which we all have to a certain degree, which actually goes the exact opposite of that. It doesn't want really to be, that part of us doesn't want to really be one with somebody else. We want to be distinct. Because being one means we lose our uniqueness. Think about it. If I'm really one with somebody else, what happened to me? Am I just like this doormat that people walk over? That's not how it is, but that's what we're afraid of sometimes. So I want to talk a little bit about this separate being that we think we are. And I'm just going to go through a few, and as you think about these, as you hear these, think about how these would affect your relationship. I am the separate self. I am unique. There's no one else like me. I just want to feel safe and good about myself. I just want my life to have a happy ending. I just want to find fulfillment. I feel better when I think that I'm different than other people, especially when I can make others and things and situations around me my enemies. In other words, when I make something or someone my enemy, it actually strengthens my sense of separateness, and I actually feel safer. People unconsciously love to have enemies. And it could just be like something like the traffic while you're driving, or it could be a political thing, or it could be your partner, or it could be your neighbor, or it could be somebody in your family. I feel the most different when others and events in my life become my enemy. Thus, I resist things and people. I judge and label them, and I complain. This makes me feel more separate and thus better because it strengthens my uniqueness. See? I might be a proponent of some really great idea, or I might be against it. Either way, if I can feel superior to somebody else through my identification with my position, I feel more complete and more safe. Looking good to other people is also very important to me. If others think I look good and I'm better, then I am, and I feel safer. I constantly need to compare myself with everybody else to know how I'm doing and who I am. If I have more, if I do more, if I have a better story, or in some cases even a worse story, if I have more information that they don't have, I feel better. I feel safer. I feel stronger in my separate uniqueness. I am my body, my mind, my abilities, my possessions, my ideas, my values, my relationships, my experiences, my job, my money, my state of health. I am my childhood, I am my cards, I am my astrology planets, and I am my story. My story includes all of these things that I am. I want my story to work out someday, to reach that happy conclusion, and my happy ending is uniquely my own. It's going to make me feel better. But I am also my problems, my complaints, judgments about others, and things around me. In my smartness, I see what is wrong in the world and I point it out. I get to be right about how wrong things are. I also include in all my sad stories, I include all my sad stories within my stories. If my problems are greater than somebody else's, I feel superior. I feel better. I feel better if I take a position that will give me some enemies. Having enemies strengthens my sense of separateness and makes me feel safer and stronger in this sense of uniqueness. And if I join in with others without having the same position, together, or with others that do have the same position, together we can fight our enemies and feel like we belong and that we're even stronger together. My existence is very precarious because people and situations are constantly threatening my sense of superiority and uniqueness. Thus, I am constantly in fear of being downgraded. So that's just a brief introduction to this, okay? But I want you to see how that position, this place that we come from, unconsciously keeps us separate. And it happens in personal relationships, in all of our relationships. So just kind of dwell on that. We're going to get into more specifics. I keep saying that, and we are going to do that very soon. But I want you to think about how being that person, like for example, I'm so attached, let's say, to my story about my past. Let's say I've learned a great lesson from something that really happened that really hurt me in the past. And now I know I'm right about that. And I've created this wall, like, you never do this, because if you do that, they hurt you. Somebody will hurt you. Trust me, that wall is going to have to go someday, because that wall is going to come up in your most important relationship at some point. It's going to have to come down. That's not really who you are. It's just what you created to protect yourself. Nothing wrong with that, but it does keep us separate, those kind of mechanisms. Okay, so thank you for listening, and look forward to some more. I'm planning to do one more after this, I think, and have a great day.